Hey YouTube, quick video this week. I was recently gifted this GoPro Hero 9 from a bunch of friends. My last GoPro was a GoPro Hero 3, so it was a little overdue for an update. But since I got this, I've been using it for time lapses in some of the previous videos you've seen, and I've been experimenting and trying to adapt it to my style of filming, as well as trying to accommodate events and other situations that I might run across. Now, I've been using this little Ulanzi tripod slash selfie stick. However, I've been feeling that this is too bulky a solution. This version has a 1/4-20 thread on it. However, they sell another version that directly connects to the GoPro forks. I'm not even sure what this style connector is called, but there's a version of this which connects directly to that style of finger mount, the forks, whatever it's called. Either way, this aluminum 1/4-20 to GoPro adapter feels like an extra step. However, it's been extremely useful in adapting other mounts that are standardized on 1/4-20 that I already have. I've got this suction cup, for example, where I've got a small little, it's a little small rig 1/4-20 friction arm, or like magic arm. And I've got this more robust, for higher vibration situations, ram mount arm with a ball mount that I can just pop onto here and suction cup this to a car, for instance, and take footage using the suction mounted GoPro. Now, it would be great if I didn't have to attach this to here. Then I stumbled across a product on AliExpress, which feels like it might be a potential solution. I actually bought two in case I screw something up. But honestly, they're relatively cheap. It's this dual port connector, and what it is the GoPro style baseplate, which you can detach and is replaceable. It's almost identical, except it has a 1/4-20 thread on the inside. So you could, in theory, just screw it onto some other sort of device. Going into this, I was a little worried that GoPro had already thought of this and decided against it. There may be a very valid reason for that, and the main one that stands out is if you over-tighten it, most 1/4-20 threads will protrude proud of this surface. Now, at least in the case of this small rig magic arm or friction arm, there is a small adjustable plate, which I can change the position of. I would rather have the ability to quickly adapt it to a 1/4-20 mount in a pinch. You know, if this combination added too much height and I wanted something as absolutely low profile as possible, it would be nice to have that option. But, again, maybe they've already thought of that. So, I'm going to attempt to swap over this part, just see how it performs. I bought two because in the future I may get a second GoPro Hero 9, because they've got this exchange program. I could get rid of my old GoPro Hero 3, or even this old action cam that really doesn't even work, and get something that's very functional. I really do enjoy the, Hyper Smooth 3.0, when just taking video of other, like cycling or other outdoor activities, and I've been practicing in anticipation of using this for airsoft. I'm going to have to modify some cases and make them BB impact resistant, but that's a future problem for a future video. So let's try attaching this and see how well it goes. Okay, so just before I start, I'm going to go over this. This dual port connector comes from Telesin, which makes a couple of other GoPro accessories such as ND filters, and the more popular battery case that's also a charger. Regardless, it comes in this little plastic case, nothing remarkable. You have a small quantity of what I'm guessing is either M2 or M2.5 countersink screws. They come in Torx, so points for not using Phillips or JIS, which can be interchangeably headachy. One thing I'm really appreciative of is they've given you extra screws in case you lose something. And in theory, you take the screws off the old one, you should be able to use it with the new one anyways. The actual mount itself appears to be steel. Oops. The base plate itself, where the 1/4-20 screws into, is magnetic, so that means it's most likely steel or possibly some other stainless steel alloy. However, you've got these two small magnets embedded into what is ostensibly aluminum, and there is no attraction to the forks. So the forks are aluminum, but that's just like the stock GoPro accessory, where these are aluminum and the base plate is steel. So all we really need to do is remove 4 screws and pop that in. I don't even think I need to open this baggie of screws. But nevertheless, I can appreciate that they, and it's going to be really hard to see on camera, but maybe I'll get an insert shot. They've got these little nylock patches on the Telesin torque screws, which is a nice addition, if only because I don't know if the GoPro screws have any sort of thread lock or something to keep them from backing out, because clearly there's no tolerance or room for any sort of a locking washer. Plus, they're countersink screws, so you can't do a locking washer. We've got this screwdriver, which comes with a warning in Chinese or some sort of a notice or notification. Just tear that tag off and chuck it in the garbage alongside my beef jerky. Okay, so this looks like a pretty good torque screwdriver. It is not cheap steel, it seems. It looks like it's hardened. Actually, let's grab a file. Is it hardened? It appears to be hardened. My file does seem to skate right across it. It does take the top surface coating off, but the file does skate across it pretty readily, so I don't think it's going to turn these screw heads to stripped chowdered messes. There's a little bit of wiggle before it actually engages the torque screw head. So let's start backing this out. Disassembly is as easy as backing out the 4 torque screws. Fortunately, they appear to be a good non-magnetic austenitic stainless steel, which means you don't have to fight the magnets on the fingers. Okay, so on the top we have the Telesin base plate, and on the bottom we have the stock GoPro base plate. The stock GoPro base plate has this small rubber pad, presumably to help cushion and buffer the torque from these 4 screws from pressing too hard on the plastic body itself. This is just friction fit, and it just slides right back in. No big deal. The Telesin version has 2 small rubber pads here and here, which seem to fulfill a similar function. Obviously, it can't sit in the middle. The stock version has 2 registration holes, similar to the registration holes here. One notable difference is that this plate appears to be cast, while this plate appears to be machined. You can see that the holes on this version are much more regular. The details are much more sharply defined, and these are both steel cores. The details are sharply defined. There's no irregularities, whereas this body has a textured sand pattern. So this up here is a cast part, while this part is a machine part. What that means is this is going to potentially have defects, inclusions, crystal size issues, whereas this could be taken from a piece of bar stock and presumably could be either hot or cold rolled and much more tough. So hopefully there's a reputable manufacturer that Telesin uses to make this sand casted part. You can definitely tell that these little protrusions around the screw holes for alignment are also not as sharp as this. It is not a trick of the camera because you can see the background pattern. It's a 1 centimeter grid behind you. Other than that, on the upper surface, not a huge difference. Again, you can kind of see the cast sand pattern versus the machine pattern here. And from a side view, there's not much difference other than the quality of the pins. You can see the pins, and I'm trying to adjust the angle so you can see that these appear to be snipped off by a machine, whereas these appear to be more machined and ground pins. So potentially there's a situation where these pins might fall out, but again, they can only fall out if they are detached from the body, since as it is, there's no way for these pins to escape. They're trapped now. What else? From the folded open position, we have the Telesin version on the right-hand side and the GoPro on the left-hand side. You'll notice that the GoPro magnets don't have an issue staying open, whereas these magnets repel each other. That is probably going to be my biggest annoyance, because when you're trying to set up, as soon as you push one in, it wants to push the other one out. So you're going to be in this constant tug of war, and that's going to be really annoying. Installation's just about as easy as removal. You just put your 4 screws in. If you use the stock screws and broke the thread lock, best to put some more thread locker on, or you can use the included screws that have the nylock patches already applied. Alright, so I do really like this mod because it slims down my entire setup for travel. The idea is that I carry this in my bag every day and I can document whatever I want. Instead of having the GoPro plus this height, it is just now the size of the GoPro. And I can keep this in the side pouch on my bag and screw this on whenever I need it, and take it off and put it away in its compartment. So this, it's not that I no longer need it, I can use it. I'm just not as motivated to use it. Other thoughts. Pricing, it's somewhere between, I think, $5 and $10 US. For a mod like this, does the price really matter that much? The utility you get out of it is probably more value in terms of time saved and stuff carried, right? Not having to carry this and compacting this down is huge for me. What else? I think that's about it. It's a pretty simple thing. They give you a decent screwdriver. It's hardened steel. The magnets do seem stronger, so these stay down better. And it works just fine with conventional GoPro mounts, so there's not much more to say about it. If you have a GoPro 8 or 9, which is what this is designed for, and you do try this, let me know down in the comments. Hopefully Telesin watches this video and they end up taking some of the feedback and giving us a little metal plate on the bottom. I don't mind if this sticks proud by 1mm and we get slightly longer screws. I would rather have this peace of mind knowing that I'm not going to accidentally impale the innards of this device or compromise its waterproof nature simply because I have too long of a 1/4-20 thread. Other than that, if you liked the video, please like, subscribe, comment, click the notification button, and peace out.